Clowns have always been creepy, even when they are not doing anything at all, and this CCTV clip does absolutely nothing to help their case. The camera was set up facing a clown mannequin sitting upright on a sofa, its painted smile frozen and eyes staring forward in that way that already feels wrong before anything even happens. The house was empty at the time, no pets, no people, nothing that should have caused movement. For a while, the footage shows nothing but stillness until the mannequin's right arm slowly begins to slide off the armrest. It does not drop or flop the way gravity would make it. Instead, it moves sideways in a controlled, steady motion, lowering until it comes to rest against the side of the clown's body. What makes it even more unsettling is where it stops. The hand ends up positioned right next to the clown's hat, almost like it was deliberately reaching for it. No vibrations, no one-off camera, no visible reason for the movement at all. After the arm settles, nothing else moves for the rest of the recording, leaving the mannequin frozen once again, just in a slightly different pose than before. The owner later said they noticed the arm had changed position when reviewing the footage, and immediately removed the mannequin from the house, because apparently there are limits to what people are willing to coexist with, and a clown adjusting itself when no one is around is one of them. Two friends named Stevie and Ron were filming a light-hearted moment in their living room when something took a sharp turn into the unsettling. They had the camera pointed at their two rabbits on the floor, laughing as Stevie teased one of them by dangling a floppy carrot just inches from its face. The mood was relaxed and wholesome, the kind of clip you'd expect to end with nothing more than a rabbit chewing contentedly.
You don't want that shit.
Do you hear something outside?
Yeah, where's it coming from? There's something like
crouching down there.
Yeah, could you get the light? Yeah. What? Back there. Where did it go? Did you see where it went?
Where? I don't know. I thought it ran down the alley.
Did you see which way?
Yeah. I don't see it.
The black rabbit suddenly lunges forward and headbutts the carrot, snapping the end clean off, as both Stevie and Ron burst out laughing. But their laughter cuts short almost immediately when they both pause and look toward a window off camera. They mention hearing a noise from outside, even though nothing is picked up clearly on the audio. As Stevie slowly pans the camera toward the glass, something strange comes into view. Just beyond the window, low to the ground, there's a dark shape crouched in a way that doesn't look like any animal they can recognize. It's still for a second, like it knows it's being watched. Ron knocks on the window to scare it off, and instantly, the shape bolts away at an unnatural speed. The two rush outside to check, filming the empty yard and surrounding area, but there's nothing there at all. No footsteps, no animals, no sign anything had been crouching there moments earlier. What started as a harmless rabbit video ended with both of them convinced they'd just seen something that wasn't supposed to be there. Lean is standing just a few feet away from a door that won't stop being knocked on, the sound coming fast and aggressive like something on the other side is desperate to get in. The camera shakes slightly as the door itself begins to rattle in its frame, each knock making it flex more than it should.
Son 3 de la mañana. Hace rato que no escuchaba esto ahí. Ya de su madre, ¿no? Ya estoy con mucho menos miedo que antes. Ahora lo afronto más rápido. Esto no sé, la verdad que voy a ver. Voy a tratar de grabar de acá. No, carajo. Miren lo alto que es. No lo puedo creer. No, sos hijo de puta. Que me miran, hijo de puta. Y sos hijo de puta, ¿quién sos? No hay nadie abajo, no hay nada. Es increíble. No, es increíble. ¿Puedo creer que no haya nadie?
After a few tense seconds, the door suddenly cracks open on its own. Lean steps to the side, angling the camera so it now captures the bathroom behind it. That's when something even more disturbing appears. Above the shower curtain, a dark, head-shaped shadow starts moving back and forth, clearly visible against the lighter wall. Lean lowers the camera deliberately to show the floor beneath the curtain, proving there are no legs, no feet, nothing standing there. The shadow keeps shifting anyway. Fighting panic, he reaches forward and yanks the curtain back. The shower is completely empty. No one inside. No place for anything to hide. The knocking has stopped. The shadow is gone, and the bathroom is silent. Whatever was at that door moments earlier vanished the second he confronted it. Daniel works graveyard shifts at a hospital, the kind of quiet hours where every sound feels louder than it should. And he says that for weeks, one specific door has been opening and closing on its own during his rounds. At first, he blamed air pressure or faulty hinges because that is what a rational adult does before accepting nightmare logic. But it kept happening in the same way, at the same time, night after night. Eventually, he got tired of explaining it away and decided to record.
This door keeps on opening and closing. Like, there's nobody here. I'm not doing the sensor. But it keeps on opening and closing. And I'm alone. I'm alone.
The camera shows an empty corridor, lights humming softly, when the door at the end slowly begins to move. It opens with a long, dragged-out creak, inch by inch, as if someone unseen is carefully pulling it toward them. Daniel stays completely silent, clearly not wanting to interrupt whatever is happening. After a few seconds, the door stops. Then just as unnervingly, it starts to close again, reversing the motion at the same slow, deliberate pace until it settles back into place. There is no rush of air, no footsteps, no shadow passing by. Daniel later explained this was exactly how it always happened. Never slamming, never sudden, almost controlled. Hospital staff checked the area the next morning and found nothing wrong with the door at all. Since then, Daniel says he avoids that corridor whenever he can, because whatever is opening that door seems to know exactly when he is there. Roy's footage starts already in chaos, the kind that makes your stomach tighten before anything even happens. The camera is shaking as he runs into a room, slams the door shut behind him, and locks it while breathing heavily. clearly panicked by something chasing him through the apartment. Whatever scared him enough to run is still out there. Almost immediately, slow knocking begins on the door he just locked, each knock spaced out and deliberate, like whoever or whatever is on the other side knows he is listening. Then the pace changes. The knocks speed up, growing louder and more aggressive, until it sounds like the door is being tested. After a long pause, Roy finally works up the courage to open it. As the door creaks open, the camera reveals something even stranger. Inside the room is another closed door, facing him directly. Before he can react, that second door suddenly swings open on its own, fast and forceful, as if someone yanked it from the other side. The clip cuts immediately after. Roy later explained that this was the final straw for him. Since then, the activity has only escalated, and he is actively trying to move out of the apartment, convinced whatever is there does not want him staying any longer. Hannah is walking through a building that's completely silent, the kind of silence that feels wrong rather than peaceful. From the layout and the tiny furniture scattered around, it looks like an abandoned daycare. She keeps the camera steady as she moves down the hallway, aware that no one else is supposed to be there with her. As she steps into one of the rooms, the camera settles on a small doll, sitting upright on a child-sized chair in the corner. It looks harmless at first, just another forgotten toy left behind. But then, without anyone touching it, the doll shifts. Its body tilts slightly, adjusting its position on the chair as if it just moved on its own. Hannah gasps and instinctively steps back, quickly panning the camera to show there's no string, no one nearby, nothing that could have caused it. The rest of the room is empty, and the building remains dead silent. She doesn't stay long after that. Later, Hannah explained that she left the building immediately and refused to go back inside alone. Whatever was still playing in that daycare clearly wasn't ready to be left behind. Aiden starts recording after days of unexplained activity in his home, convinced that whatever's been happening isn't just his imagination anymore. He keeps the camera steady, focused on a cabinet in his kitchen that he claims has been causing problems on its own.
I feel some paranormal activity going on. There it is. Paranormal activity. I knew it.
At first, nothing happens, and the room is completely silent. Then, without warning, the left side of the cabinet slowly pulls open by itself. There's no one near it, no visible force, and no sudden movement of air that could explain it. Aiden reacts instantly, informing the audience as he keeps the camera trained on the cabinet, half expecting it to move again. It doesn't. The door just hangs there, wide open, like it was deliberately left that way. After the clip, Aiden explained that this wasn't the first time things like this had happened, but it was the first time he managed to catch it on camera. Since then, he says the activity has been getting more frequent, and he's now convinced there's something in his house that knows exactly when it's being watched. This next clip comes from Ian, a familiar face for anyone who's followed Midwest ghost hunting for a while. He's back in the same abandoned factory he's explored before, a place already known for making people uneasy. At this point in the investigation, Ian is walking alone through a deeper section of the building, clearly worn down, but still pushing forward. He briefly discovers what looks like an old elevator shaft, but doesn't linger long because he says the area instantly makes him feel dizzy and disoriented, like the air itself is off. He moves away and ends up wandering into a bizarre, maze-like section of the factory, with narrow pathways and hanging sheets of torn material that force him to physically push through just to keep going.
Elevator shaft. God. Imagine falling down that. Hell no, I can't even look at stuff like that. I get woozy. Oh, whoa. This looks like a freaky maze. Do I dare go in here? Ah, screw it. Why not? Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh, that thunder. It almost sounded like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. What the f? Dude, the f***ing strobe lights are on. Get me out of here, get me out of here. I can't f***ing see. Dude, what the hell was that about? Those freaking things just came on by themselves. Who just turned those lights on? Oh my god, I about fainted when that freaking happened. I wonder if maybe they're motion censored. Maybe they just detected my motion and turned on. Oh god, I don't want to go back in there, but I gotta test it out. Oh, my goodness, it's getting tangled. Oh, the lights aren't going off. What the hell? What's going on? These things should be going off. Look, I'm already on the other side now. Oh man, oh. Yeah, like I'm moving all around in here. And there's nothing. They aren't going off. If you're still in here, could you trigger the lights?
As he makes his way through, the strobe lights in the area suddenly switch on by themselves, flashing violently and lighting up the maze in short, disorienting bursts. Ian immediately reacts, confused and unsettled, assuming they must be motion activated. To test it, he backs out and retraces his steps, deliberately walking the same path again. But this time, nothing happens. The lights stay completely off, no matter how much he moves. That's when it really sinks in that whatever triggered them before wasn't just motion. The randomness of it, combined with the oppressive layout of the factory, makes this one of the most unsettling moments of his entire investigation, and it's clear the building wasn't done messing with him yet. An Instagram user has been documenting what he calls experiments with the entity that supposedly lives in his basement. At first, people thought he was just making skits, but the footage keeps getting harder to explain. In one video, the sound of slow, deliberate footsteps can be heard making their way halfway up the basement stairs.
This Instagram user posted experiments they have been doing with the paranormal entity in their basement. There are footsteps, then the balloon is hit by an unseen force. In a second video, more footsteps are followed by the owner's hand being slapped. Finally, he tries one more experiment. Watch what happens.
Moments later, a blue balloon begins bouncing by itself in the air, not rolling or drifting, but bouncing, as though someone unseen was hitting it upward from below. A few days later, he recorded again after hearing the same footsteps. This time they climbed all the way to the top and stopped right in front of him. The camera captures his arm jerking back twice as two clear slaps echo through the basement, even though nobody visible was there. The final clip is the most unsettling. He holds a roll of toilet paper at the top of the stairs, indirectly daring the spirit in the basement to do something about it. The footsteps start again, slow and heavy, and then the roll begins to unravel itself slightly, but not to an extent that was too crazy. Viewers called it one of the clearest pieces of interaction footage they'd ever seen. It was concrete evidence that whatever's in that basement isn't just moving objects, it's responding. A little girl was sitting on the floor, playing with some of her toys, when she suddenly started talking to someone who wasn't there. At first, upon checking the camera, her parents thought she was just pretending, the way most kids do. But as she kept going, it became unsettling.
It's nighttime, we can sleep. And you want to do so now. You want a pizza, remember?
She could be heard greeting someone and using a name her parents recognized instantly, Grandma Eckersley, a family member who had passed away, and they were still deeply upset by her passing. She spoke with warmth and familiarity, describing her as an angel and telling her about her toys, as though carrying on a genuine conversation. What made it all the more chilling was how naturally she spoke, because it was very clear that this wasn't just the result of a wild imagination. The parents watched the footage in silence, torn between fear and disbelief. Many online have said that young children are more receptive to things adults can't see, and if that's true, this little girl might have been speaking to someone who never really left. Built back in 1887, the house Noah lived in carried a long and eerie history. Locals say the spirits of the original homeowners never left, and after 3 years inside those walls, Noah had no doubt about it. The knocks always came at night, steady and deliberate, like someone on the other side of the door refusing to leave.
Jesus loves me, yes I know.
Built in 1887, this home was haunted by the original homeowners, Judson Hood and his wife Mary Pogue. I lived here for 3 years and just released my 10-part series explaining the history of the home and how it eventually burnt down.
Mary. Mary girl. Ooh, I'm covered in goosebumps. Mary, I know you just died 106 years ago, bitch. Give it up, Mary. Cut it out. Come on, Mary, for real. You done said your piece 106 times. Die. Go to the grave. This shit's creepy. I'll give it to you since it's your death dates or whatever. Happy 106th day in heaven. I hope you're in heaven.
I called 911.
Jesus loves me, yes I know, for the Bible. Come on, girl. What do you want? Normally you shut up when I come down here. I'm gonna try to run past it. Hey, Mary. Mary, can you stop? Mary! Stop! Creepy ass painting. I am not cut out for this shit, y'all. My motherfucking rosary.
This time, Noah decided to speak directly to whatever was there, asking it to stop, but the knocking only grew louder and faster, like it was angry. His voice shakes slightly as he warns it again, telling the presence to go away, to rest, but it doesn't stop. The sound keeps echoing through the hallway until he tells the spirit behind it to return to the grave where it came from. The moment the words leave his mouth, the video cuts out completely. The knocking didn't stop that night. A few days later, Noah posted another video. This time, the knocks had returned, louder than ever. The camera shows him halfway down the stairs, his voice tired and frustrated as he films the front door closely.
If you could just please stop. I'm trying to sleep. This is the third time you got me up. I'm here, so come on, what do you need? What are you trying to...
As soon as he stops to catch his breath, the knocking stops too. Like whatever's there is listening to him. He stands still for a few seconds, trying to process it, then speaks again, this time softer, asking the ghost to please stop because he's just trying to sleep. For a moment, there's silence. No movement, no sound, just the hum of the house in the middle of the night. Then suddenly, a scary demon jumped out, except it was actually an edit he added later of himself as a joke, something to break the tension up. But even with that small edit, viewers pointed out how real his fear seemed, how cautious he was walking down those stairs. A few nights later, Noah uploaded yet another video, saying he hadn't been sleeping properly since the last incident. The knocking had changed this time, and was not coming from the door anymore, but from the walls themselves.
Shh. Can y'all please just walk me down, please?
Hello? If you can hear me, please stop. Why are you going faster? Oh, fuck no.
The recording starts with him getting out of bed in frustration, the camera shaking as the loud thuds echo through the house. He walks to the same midpoint of the stairs where it always seems to happen, calling out, "Hello," and demanding the ghost to stop. For a brief moment, the sounds pause, the house falling completely silent. Then, just as he begins to back away, the knocking resumes, except faster, sharper, almost rhythmic, like it's responding directly to him. His breathing quickens, the tension building as he stays frozen on the stairs. Eventually, it stops just as suddenly as it started, leaving an eerie quiet behind. Noah whispers to himself and slowly retreats back up the steps, clearly terrified to even look back. Whatever is haunting that house isn't finished with him yet. The video begins with the sound of heavy breathing, the man clearly unsettled as he films a see-through section of his wall to capture something very peculiar. As the camera pans toward the kitchen window, a small child can be seen standing perfectly still on the other side, its outline clear against the dim light. For a few tense seconds, neither of them moves. Then, when he finally gathers the courage to turn the corner and check, there's nobody there. No child, no sound, just the faint creaking of the house settling. He steps farther into the room, scanning around with his camera, and that's when a cupboard door suddenly shuts on its own, slamming with force. A whisper follows right after, barely audible, but enough to make him flinch and drop a curse under his breath. The clip cuts abruptly after that, leaving viewers questioning who, or what, that child in the window really was. Zark uploaded what he called the scariest night his family had ever experienced. The video starts with him, his wife, and their young son lying in bed, the woman trying to comfort the child, while Zark decides to get up and see what's going on.
नहीं तुम बच्चे के साथ रहो, नहीं तो वो डरेगा.
Daddy, can I go?
No, Mama. You take care of Mommy. Daddy will come soon. पूरा सामान गिरा हुआ है. Yeah. इधर भी पूरा कवर गिरा हुआ है.
He walks slowly toward the door, opens it carefully, and peers into the hallway where nothing is there. The house is silent except for the faint hum of appliances, but as he moves into the kitchen, things start to make sense, and not in a good way. Items are scattered across the floor. A cupboard is wide open, and his son's small bike has toppled over near the counter. Even a wall cover that had been perfectly secured earlier is now lying on the ground. Zark lifts it back up, presses it against the wall, and right as he does, the footage glitches. the image blurs, and the power cuts off. A moment later, the video transitions to CCTV footage he recorded earlier that night. The camera shows the cupboard door opening by itself, objects falling out one by one, the bike tipping over without anyone nearby, and finally the cover slipping down the wall on its own. Everything happens in complete silence. No people, no movement other than the objects themselves. Zark has no explanation for any of it EL, and neither do experts. All we know is that whatever's in that house made itself known to all of them that night. Dashcam footage dated July the 18th, 2021 at exactly 10 o'clock at night shows what might be one of the eeriest captures ever taken on a highway. The car is driving steadily down a dimly lit stretch of road, the lights from oncoming vehicles occasionally flashing across the windshield. For the first few seconds, everything looks perfectly normal. It's quiet, calm, and uneventful, but as the vehicle approaches a bend, something faint and human-shaped can be seen running along the side of the highway. Its outline is translucent, almost glowing against the darkness, moving at an unnatural speed, yet leaving no shadow, no sound, no trace on the road itself. The driver doesn't seem to notice, continuing straight ahead, while the figure gradually fades from view. When the footage was reviewed later, people were stunned by how clear the form appeared and how it seemed to match the movements of a real person, except for the fact that you could see right through it. Many now believe it wasn't a trick of light or reflection, but the ghost of someone still running that road, long after their time. A local resident had reached out to Camilla, asking her to record a cleansing of what she referred to as the Death Room, a space with a dark history they wanted documented for a private Facebook group. Camilla agreed to film, thinking it would just be a simple ritual and nothing more.
Heavenly Father, I ask for your divine presence to fill this space. May your light shine brightly through every room, cleansing this home of any negativity, fear, or unrest. Let peace dwell in every corner, and love be the foundation of every wall. Bless this home with your protection, surrounding it with your angels, and shielding it from harm and evil. May every door be a passage to your grace, and every window open to your blessings. In Jesus' name.
The footage shows the woman standing just outside the room in front of the doorway, reading a plea for God to cleanse and protect the space. Her voice is steady, echoing softly off the walls, while Camilla keeps the camera focused on her. Halfway through the prayer, the jewelry hanging from the woman's wrist suddenly shifts and swings on its own, the small, dangly piece moving as if something invisible had brushed against it. The woman doesn't break her chant, but Camilla is shocked at what she's capturing. She's since said this is the clip she shows anyone who doubts her, insisting nothing about that moment was staged. The next video shows Camilla alone, sitting in a room that we cannot identify, explaining the story behind the now infamous death room.
A lot of you guys have seen that video, so I just want to explain it. Basically, one of the patients here asked me to record a video of her while she was anointing her room to post on her Facebook. group page, this like Catholic group page or whatever, and while she was praying, the rosary little gets yanked out of her hand. That's not even the weirdest thing that's happened there. Mind you, we all call this death room because anytime a patient goes in there, they pass away or they get sent to the hospital after they come in healthy. I can't, due to the confidentiality of the families and our respect for everybody in the patients, I'm literally not allowed to say that much. But the craziest thing that happened, and my coworker literally got a video of it. We had this therapy dog come in and it's playing with our patients, and then it literally runs away and it goes to the door of this death room, right? The death room, and it starts whimpering. This is a therapy dog, like.
You like the sucker? You ready to go take a shower? Yeah, here. It's not worth it? Where's your other sucker? You only have one? Use it. Yeah.
Really?
She begins by saying that the room got its grim nickname for a reason. Every patient who was ever placed in it eventually passed away, no matter their condition going in. Camilla's tone is serious, her voice trembling slightly, as she talks about how the room has been avoided ever since. She goes on to share something even stranger, a story about the therapy dog that regularly visits the facility. According to her, the dog once left its group session on its own and walked straight to the door of the death room, where it began to whimper uncontrollably. To back it up, Camilla includes footage showing exactly that, the dog standing outside the door, crying and refusing to move closer. She explains that nobody could calm it down for several minutes, and from that day forward, it never approached that part of the hallway again. CCTV footage from the corner of the hallway outside the so-called death room would only deepen the mystery. The unsettling clip shows the corridor completely empty, save for the green flash of the call light above the door. Take a look at what happens next.
Why is it beeping? I don't know, no one's in there. It's crazy. Get the light, get the light. Is that chicken? Yes. Did you just get that on camera? No. Stop. No, I'm not playing with you anymore. I don't like this. No, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. This is insane right now. Right there.
Okay, you're gonna stop this right now.
After a few seconds, the light begins to flicker on and off in short, sharp bursts, as though being triggered by something unseen. Then, without warning, the door to the room slowly swings shut by itself, the sound echoing faintly through the hall. Moments later, a few nurses are drawn by the noise and go to investigate. One of them, clearly unnerved, calls out for whoever or whatever might be there to stop. They check the room thoroughly, opening the door and stepping inside, but it's completely empty. Nothing and no one to explain what had just been caught. To this day, the death room remains one of the facility's most unsettling mysteries, one even the staff refuse to discuss in detail. CCTV footage from a quiet kitchen captured something that left viewers unsettled. In the dim glow of a nightlight, a strange, fast-moving shadow sweeps across the back of the room, its shape unclear but unmistakably humanoid in motion. Both the household cat and dog can be seen reacting at the same time, their heads snapping in unison to follow the invisible movement. The cat perches its head up while the dog stiffens, staring at the same spot where the shadow had passed, as though something was still there. This all unfolded at 12:45 in the morning, a time when the house should have been completely still. The pet's synchronized reactions only add to the footage's creepiness, giving it a sense of authenticity that's hard to dismiss. When the homeowner reviewed the video the next day, they admitted it gave them chills, seeing their animals watch something that, on camera, looked like pure darkness gliding across the kitchen. They're thinking of selling the house. On September the 18th of 2006, a group of urban explorers decided to experiment inside a notorious abandoned house in Toronto. One of them, acting as the camera woman, documented the entire thing.
So we are September 18th, 2006. We are officially 18 days behind schedule. These guys have been working for 6 months and I have no idea what they've been doing. Our renovation is not gone to any schedule. I mean, they're still drywall these guys haven't hung. I don't know what the hell they've been doing. The hardwood floor is not even touched. We have no electrical. I mean, it's just a wire with a bulb. It's not gonna do me any good. The carpet up the stairs has just been ruined. There's even more damage, like now things are peeling off the walls. Everything up here, I mean, it's just disgusting. I don't know what the hell's going on. Look at, there's holes in the walls up here. It's just, oh Jesus!
As she steps through the front door, her voice trembles slightly as she describes the interior. The place is filthy and falling apart, littered with old belongings and cracked walls. Slowly, she climbs the creaking staircase to the upper floor, pointing out holes in the walls and floors that make the place even more dangerous using her night vision camera. But just as she's narrating the damage, a loud bang echoes from down the hall. Spinning the camera toward the sound, she captures a faint human-like figure at the end of the corridor, turning sharply as if to hide behind a corner. Her breathing becomes panicked as she realizes she isn't alone. Without hesitation, she bolts down the stairs and out of the house, the footage shaking wildly as she runs for her life. Hugh and her friends made it out that day, so the only question is, will they be returning? Fuego had been documenting strange occurrences in his home for weeks, hoping to finally catch something on camera that explained the unease he felt every night. In this clip, He stands outside his youngest child's bedroom, his phone trembling in his hand as several loud bangs echo from behind the door. The only downside is that his youngest child passed away, but he kept the room in her memory.
¿Se escucha el ruido? Acá está la habitación de mi hija. Ey. Uy, se siente re fría esta habitación. ¿Qué carajo? El ruido viene de acá adentro, me parece. Concha de tu madre, la concha de tu madre. Otra vez, ¿ves? Ruido acá adentro. ¿Qué onda?
Steeling himself, he pushes it open and steps inside, immediately struck by the sound of slow, uneven breathing coming from somewhere in the room. The door behind him slams shut off camera, making him jolt and spin around in panic. Suddenly, a little girl's laugh cuts through the silence, high-pitched and chilling, followed by the clattering of something moving behind the wardrobe door. Without warning, a toy basketball rolls across the floor. Before he can react, the wardrobe itself begins to shake violently. Summoning his nerve, Fuego swings the door open to reveal a small plastic bear toy sitting inside, its speaker crackling to life as it plays distorted music. The girl-like noises intensify, becoming more agitated, echoing from all around him rather than one spot. Overwhelmed, Fuego turns and sprints from the room, the camera not capturing this and cutting after one motion. He is considering leaving the house, but doesn't want to tarnish his last memory of his daughter. A man had set up his phone in a music room. He's long believed to be haunted, speaking directly to his audience about its strange history without going into detail about the incidents themselves. His tone is calm at first, explaining that he's there alone to document what might happen when nobody else is around.
Hola, una. Estoy acá en mi estudio. Ay, la puta madre. Otra vez vuelvo a sentir ruido. La verdad que... La concha de la lora. La puta madre. Ay, la puta clu...
As he talks, one of the guitars mounted on the wall gives a slight, almost imperceptible sway behind him, but he's too focused on speaking to notice. Moments later, a sudden thud echoes across the room as something falls from a desk next to a keyboard, hitting the floor hard enough to startle him mid-sentence. He whips his head toward the sound, clearly unnerved now, scanning the room for any explanation but finding nothing. His composure breaks, and he quickly backs away from the desk before turning and bolting from the room. He is still struggling on what to do next, but who knows if he will see this video. Just in case he does, feel free to comment some advice for him. Crisela Luna, a paranormal investigator known for exploring some of Mexico's most infamous haunted sites, had previously terrified viewers with her visit to the abandoned Hotel Posada del Sol. Now, she's back at the exact same location, continuing her exploration into the unknown. This time, the video begins with her walking toward a rusted old tractor, surrounded by overgrown brush, the atmosphere quiet but tense.
Ay, Dios. Ay, ay, ay. Creo que fue ese pajarito lo que generó el ruido, como que salió de aquí. Ahí está inquieto porque llegamos. Pues al parecer está todo muy tranquilo. Desde que llegamos no hemos recibido una sola manifestación. ¡Ay! ¡Ay! ¿Qué pasó? ¡Ay! ¿Qué pasó? No se vio nada en la cámara. ¿Tú viste algo, Melissa? No. Está revoloteando aquí este pajarito. Parece que se siente mal. Pero esto me asustó. ¿Qué será? Ay, ¿qué será? Aquí está. Eso es lo que nos está asustando. Está inquieto porque estamos aquí. ¡Ay! 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 ¿Qué tronó? ¿Qué tronó? ¿Qué tronó? ¿Qué tronó? ¡Ay, no! ¿Qué es? ¿Qué está pasando? Está aquí bastante oscuro. No sabemos qué está pasando. Hay plasmaciones en las paredes. Si pueden ver, vean. Ustedes mismos quiero que detecten las plasmaciones de los rostros que hay, de rostros diabólicos incluso. Aquí parece que no hay una sola energía. Parece que hay más entidades y no solo la de esta señora.
She suddenly freezes as a strange noise echoes from behind her, prompting her to spin the camera around in every direction. But there's nothing there. Determined, she keeps moving, her flashlight cutting through the darkness, when another bizarre sound, closer this time, makes her stop again. She lets out a quick scream, but keeps recording, spotting a bird resting unnaturally still nearby. As she films it closely, another sound erupts in the distance, sharp and loud, like a gunshot tearing through the silence. Crizelle gasps, and the camera shakes, cutting just as she turns toward the noise. The video ends there, leaving her audience desperate to know what she discovered next. Subscribe to my channel, as her story will continue in future videos. In the following video, the man behind the camera keeps moving through what looks like a storage area, the kind of tight corridor where every box and shadow feels like it has weight, and you can tell he is already on edge as he scans each corner with the camera. He stops when he notices a door that should never be opened during the investigation, sitting cracked just enough to make the hallway feel wrong, and he slowly leans in to look behind it, even though the team is nowhere nearby.
La puerta se abre y se cierra sola.
Se está abriendo esa puerta. No hay nadie.
Y por acá también se escucha ruido.
He finds the door opening a crack, so opens it and checks behind it just to see nothing. Because of this, he walks away and the door shuts by itself as a strange noise starts playing behind it, and he speed walks out of the hallway. The second that door slams, you can see his whole body tense, because that wasn't wind, and it definitely wasn't timing or coincidence. And the noise that follows sounds like something trying to push through the wall just to remind him he is not supposed to be there. His footsteps turn into a full speed walk that almost looks like he wants to run, but refuses to make noise, and every few seconds he glances back like he expects the door to open again. Moments like that show exactly why investigators always say curiosity is one thing, but when the building answers you on its own, that is when you learn how fast fear can move. It was late enough that the local markets should have felt peaceful, but every shutter was pulled down tight and the whole place looked abandoned, except for May cutting through the empty rows. She knew the place was closed and shouldn't have held any noise at all, which is why the first faint scream stopped her in her tracks, sounding like someone crying out in pain from deep inside the metal-covered stalls. She followed it slowly, each step making the sound grow sharper and more desperate, until it felt like it was right beside her, but no matter where she turned, there was never anyone there.
Imagínate andar por la central de abastos y oír esto.
The screaming and crying keep getting louder as she walks, yet she can't find the source even when it sounds feet away. By the time she reached the end of the walkway, the noise was so overwhelming it felt like it was coming from the walls, and she spun around expecting someone to stumble out, but the shutters were sealed tight like they hadn't moved in hours. That was the moment she realized she wasn't chasing a person at all, and the way the sound cut off instantly once she stopped filming, almost like it knew she understood, made the silence after feel even worse. May had walked straight into something trying to be heard, and the fact that it never showed itself only made it clearer that she had been listening to a ghost. It happened late in the evening when the house was already settling into that quiet that makes every shadow seem a little thicker, and Charlie kept tugging at his dad's sleeve saying there was a scary boy standing across the room staring at him. His dad brushed it off at first, calling it pretend, but Charlie wasn't smiling or joking, he just kept insisting the boy was real and he didn't want to be near him. Eventually, the dad told him to show where this scary boy was, so Charlie nervously walked with him through the hall and stopped at a doorway, pointing inside with his hand shaking like he expected something to move.
What are you saying, Charlie? There's a scary boy where? What do you mean? What, are you doing pretend? Yeah, you're just playing pretend, aren't you? Do you want to show me? Show me then. Come on. You show me where he is. Where? Where? In there? In there? Okay, get ready, Charlie. No, scary boy. No, there's nothing there, mate. Do you want me to go in? Look, there's absolutely nothing in here. You've got nothing to be scared about. I'm absolutely shitting myself. There's nothing to be scared about. There's nothing here. That's just the bathroom. Nothing there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the shower. Never been more scared in my entire life. Oh my. See, told you, nothing there, mate. Perfect. Come on, let me silly.
The father opens the door and sees nothing, while Charlie refuses to step past the threshold. The moment the door swings open to an empty room, the dad turns back confused, but Charlie steps back like he's afraid something invisible is right in front of him, claiming that the scary boy is still there, even if his dad can't see him. That kind of fear doesn't come from pretending, and the way Charlie wouldn't even look into the room made the dad realize this wasn't just a kid's imagination. It was something he couldn't explain, and something Charlie clearly wished he hadn't noticed at all. It was supposed to be a quiet night in Braden's room, but the ceiling kept creaking with slow, heavy footsteps, even though nobody was home, and there shouldn't have been anything moving above him at all. He sat still for a second, trying to convince himself it was the house settling, but the steps were too steady, too human, so he grabbed his flashlight and started walking through the dark halls with that kind of nervous focus where every sound feels closer than it should.
Wow, it's really bad right now. Okay, hold on. Jesus. Okay, hold up. Why is the tree on there? Whatever that is coming from up here. Should I attempt to go in there? Because that was coming, all that thumping, it was coming from like right in there, in that room. What the?
He points his flashlight upstairs and hears his own exact voice say, "Come up for a sec." The way the voice coming down the stairs matched his tone perfectly meant he froze, because there was no way his own voice should be calling him from a place where nobody was standing. It wasn't an echo, and it wasn't a trick of the house. It sounded like something pretending to be him just to get his attention. He didn't step closer. He didn't even breathe for a moment, because when something upstairs can mimic you perfectly, the last thing you want to do is give it the chance to talk again. The following video was captured amidst a normal slow night at the sneaker shop. The kind where the worker is just sweeping the floor and straightening boxes while the CCTV quietly records every corner of the room. Nothing feels off until the air suddenly shifts a little, just enough to make him pause, and the camera catches him glancing toward the back like he sensed something move. As he keeps cleaning, the door to the back of the shop slams shut on its own, even though nothing is near it. He jumps and stares because there's no draft, no co-workers, no reason for it to slam with that much force, and the CCTV angle shows the room behind it is completely empty. It's the kind of movement that looks deliberate, like something wanted to make itself noticed, and the way he slowly backs away from the doorway says everything. Even in a brightly lit shop, surrounded by sneakers and shelves, that door made it clear he wasn't alone at all. The same sneaker shop is open now, customers walking around and the place feeling completely normal, like nothing strange had ever happened there. And one of the workers is helping a guy try on a new pair he picked from the wall. They're chatting casually as the customer slips the sneakers on. Then he walks over toward the mirror to get a better look, while the worker follows a few steps behind, totally unaware that the cameras are still watching every corner and about to capture something crazy.
Yeah, I'm going, bro. Man, roll pretty cool. He's trying to take it on myself. Hell no.
As the customer stands in front of the mirror, a single sneaker from the display wall drops to the floor on its own, with no one near it, causing both of them to panic and run. The moment that sneaker hits the ground, they both whip around because it didn't slide. It didn't wobble off. It fell straight down like something knocked it loose with intention. You can see the confusion turn into fear instantly, and the worker doesn't even try to explain it before bolting toward the front door with the customer right behind him. It feels like whatever slammed the back door before was still there, waiting for another chance to be noticed, and that single falling sneaker was enough to send them both running. The shop had only been open for 12 minutes when the man working started saying something was moving around in the attic, and the walls, like the whole building, was settling wrong, and the fact that the store next door was abandoned made every sound feel way more isolated than it should. He walked around the aisles with his camera, trying to prove he wasn't imagining it, and the second he passed the back corner, he heard a hard knock hit behind the wall, like something was following him from the other side.
Okay, we have literally been open for 12 minutes. There is so much stuff happening right now that I don't even understand it. So I'm going to show you. No one's on the cameras. There's stuff coming from the attic and in the walls again. And if you look it up, the store next to us doesn't exist. They went out of business. No one's here. Hello? Hello? Did you hear the knock? Hello? Can you knock again? Oh my. What the? It's honestly a great day to be haunted. I'm just recording right from Insta. I don't know if the machines are so loud, but there's so much knocking coming from the attic. This is insane, like literally. Okay. I'm gonna throw up. I'm not ready for this. It is too early for this. We're not even open. Hello? Is there a reason you're so active right now? My Jesus Christ! What the fuck is that? I can't fake that. Holy cow. Okay, wait. I'm gonna try to do one continuous video proving that nobody's up here. Oh my god. I have goosebumps. Wow, this ain't even a TikTok. Okay. I'm just... God. Okay, it literally just stopped. Okay, can't show the code. Something literally flew off the wall. Bro. Bro, Spirit, is there a reason you're so upset today? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Jesus. I don't even know where to go. Okay. Holy, look at this. I'm a little actually scared right now because this is in the morning. We don't usually experience this much in the morning.
The knocks keep happening as he circles the store, most of them coming from the attic, and the place isn't even open yet, so there is no way it could be a prankster customer. He pulls down the attic ladder, and loud banging erupts above him before going silent. But right as he says it stopped, more knocks explode across the ceiling, and something is thrown off the wall. He shows the item on the floor through the CCTV feed. When the object hits the ground, he freezes, because that wasn't just noise, it was force, and the attic ladder hanging open behind him makes it feel like something could climb down at any second. He stands there breathing hard while staring into the dark above, and the silence that follows feels like the building is waiting for him to move so it can answer again. Ian, a ghost hunter in the Midwest, entered a decaying factory that locals claimed was haunted. The air was thick with dust and the faint smell of rust, and the silence made every creak echo like a warning. He set up his equipment, hoping to communicate with whatever lingered in the shadows, and immediately something responded.
Who are you? Whoa. Sir, why do you still haunt this tannery? But you said railing. Railing. Like fell over the railing. Are you saying that you died on these catwalks? And that you fell? Whoa. It sounded like that's what happened. Jesus, this is so crazy. Thank you, sir, for communicating with me. Is there anything you would like to say? Sounded like it said work. Are you going back to work? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you get back to work then, if that's the case.
The voice was faint but clear, saying, "Lost my balance." Ian asked why it haunted the place, and the reply came simply, "Railing." Piecing it together, he assumed the spirit had fallen from the railing in life, and the ghost confirmed that's what happened. Feeling a mix of relief and awe, Ian thanked the spirit for sharing its story, then gave it one last chance to speak. The final words whispered back, "It's working," leaving Ian with the eerie sense that the factory still held secrets, and that even in death, some connections lingered longer than expected. The following clip begins with loud, repeated banging echoing through the apartment, sharp enough to jolt the person filming upright from the couch beside the bed. It sounds deliberate, like something hitting a wall or door over and over, and after a moment of hesitation, they decide to investigate.
All right, let's investigate.
Camera in hand, they move through the apartment, checking nearby rooms, the hallway, even the front door, but everything is exactly as it should be. No movement, no open doors, no explanation for the noise they just heard. The banging has completely stopped, leaving behind an uncomfortable silence that feels heavier than the sound itself. After finding nothing, they head back toward the bedroom, clearly trying to convince themselves it was just a random noise. But as soon as they step back inside, the tension returns. The room feels different now, quieter, in a way that feels intentional, almost like whatever caused the banging is waiting. After ending the video, they pause near the couch, scanning the space slowly, listening for any hint of it starting again. Nothing does, at least not on camera, but the way they hesitate before sitting back down says enough. The banging may have stopped, but the feeling that something followed them back into the room never really goes away. James had already been dealing with strange activity in his house for days, which is exactly why he had his phone ready when this moment happened. He starts recording as the door handle in front of him begins shaking violently, rattling back and forth with force that clearly isn't normal. The handle suddenly twists on its own, and the door swings fully open, revealing the room beyond it. You can hear James breathing heavily behind the camera, frozen in place as he tries to process what he's seeing. Just as quickly, the door slowly shuts itself again, clicking into place. For a brief second, everything goes quiet, almost like it's over, but then the handle moves again. The door opens a second time, wider than before slamming shut once more as if whatever was doing it was toying with him. James later explained that this wasn't an isolated incident, and that similar things had been happening regularly in that room, which is what pushed him to finally film it. Seeing the door open and close repeatedly with that kind of force, and hearing the panic in his breathing, makes it clear this wasn't staged. Whatever was on the other side of that door clearly wanted to be noticed. Late at night, two friends were standing in the hallway of a house that had already been making them uneasy when they decided to finally check the attic. Ali stood directly beneath the hatch, holding the long stick used to pull it open, while his friend filmed from a few steps back. Heavy banging could be heard coming from above, loud and deliberate, not like animals or loose pipes, but slow, forceful knocks that seemed to respond to their presence.
Escucha, hágale suavecito. Espere, hágale.
Ali hesitates for a moment before pushing the attic door upward with the stick. As it creaks open, the darkness above fills the frame, and then something horrifying appears. An uncanny face suddenly becomes visible in the opening, pale and unnatural, staring straight down at them from the attic. It doesn't speak or move much, but its presence alone is enough. The moment they realize what they're looking at, both of them panic. The camera jolts violently as they turn and sprint away, shouting in fear as the attic door slams shut behind them. The footage was cut shortly after, but Ali later claimed neither of them went back up there that night. No one else was supposed to be in the house, and whatever looked down at them from that attic was never seen again. After weeks of dealing with things he couldn't explain inside the house, Tanner finally decided he needed some air and a break from whatever had been going on. He stepped outside with his phone, filming casually while talking to the camera about how tense everything had been lately, saying he just wanted to clear his head. The area around him looked empty and quiet, and nothing seemed out of place at first.
Hey guys, so I decided to just get out of the house today. I think it's probably good for me to keep my mind off of things and just maybe not think about it so much. I'm starting to feel paranoid, like the only place I feel safe is at my house, and I don't really think that that's healthy, so I decided to just get out today. Thanks you guys to anyone who reached out to me. I'm doing fine, I just feel a little uneasy when I leave the house, but other than that, I'm doing good.
As Tanner continues walking and talking, the camera briefly pans past a long corridor far behind him. In that moment, barely noticeable unless you're really looking, an uncanny girl-like figure can be seen standing still in the distance, watching from the shadows. Tanner doesn't react at all and keeps walking, completely unaware that anything is there. The figure doesn't move, doesn't wave, and doesn't follow. It just stands there before slipping out of view as the camera shifts again. It wasn't until Tanner posted the video that people in the comments started pointing it out, timestamp after timestamp, all saying the same thing. Whatever that figure was, it appeared right after he left the house to escape the activity inside, making it feel like whatever had been haunting him hadn't stayed behind at all. Three friends were standing in the water together, laughing and getting ready to take an underwater selfie together, the camera already recording as they counted down and hyped each other up. It all felt normal at first, just another casual moment caught on video. As they prepare to dive in, a fourth figure suddenly appears behind them in the frame. It looks like a person standing just a few steps back, close enough that there's no way they could have slipped away unnoticed. The friends don't react at all, clearly unaware that anyone else is there. Seconds later, the three of them dive forward into the water together, splashing out of frame. But the strange part is what happens next. The fourth person never moves, never steps aside, and never exits the shot. When the camera steadies again, there's no one behind them at all. No swimmer surfacing, no footsteps, no disturbance in the water that would explain where that person went. Viewers slowed the footage down frame by frame, and there's no point where the figure can be seen leaving. It's as if they were never really there to begin with. The clip ends shortly after, but that unexplained extra person has left people convinced something impossible wandered into the shot for just a few seconds. At around 2 in the morning, just as Abdullah was about to turn off the lights and go to sleep, loud banging suddenly erupted from his apartment door, sharp enough to make him freeze in place. Confused and half asleep, he pulled out his phone and started recording to catch this.
It was around 10 a.m. I was going to turn off light and ready to sleep, and then this happened again. So I heard my voice again after a month.
हाँ भाई ना हाइदी हाँ हम अल्फा मलाइकी तूने लम्मा शाब से कुर्सी उस्मान से रख ले खुद उस्मान हो ले लो जीवन स्माइन तो मुझे क्या है तुम्हें भूख लगी या खाना खाओ मेरे पीछे तंग मत करो नीचे जा खाना खाओ फ्रिज में मैंने नहीं खोलना इसे
From the other side of the door, a voice could be heard begging to be let inside, repeating itself over and over, saying it was hungry and wanted to eat something. The tone didn't sound muffled like someone in the hallway, it sounded close, almost pressed against the door itself. Abdullah responds, firmly telling it no, that it can't come in. Almost instantly, the voice changes, becoming aggressive, and the knocking grows louder and faster, slamming against the door in bursts like whoever, or whatever, was getting angry. After a few tense seconds, the noise stops completely. Trying to prove to himself it was nothing, Abdullah opens the door and steps into the hallway, filming as he looks left and right. The corridor is completely empty, silent and still. No footsteps, no people, no sign that anyone had been there at all. He quickly retreats back inside and locks the door, later saying this was the moment he realized whatever was knocking didn't need to be seen to feel real. Just a day later, Abdullah found himself home alone again, still shaken from what happened the night before, but trying to convince himself it was a one-off. This time, the apartment door was already open as he moved around the house and everything felt quiet enough to forget about it for a moment. That didn't last.
I was alone at home, so they started mimicking me again.
So, I heard someone is calling me, but I'm alone in my home. Like, मेरे घर में कोई भी नहीं है अभी. कौन? रोहान तुम हो? क्या हुआ? हाँ? तुम नीचे आओ. तुम नीचे आ जाओ रोहान. नीचे क्यों नहीं आना? क्यों? बकवास बंद करो अपनी. कौन था? बोलो. रूम में है ना कोई? मेरी एक बार अपने जेब में. Okay, bye. I don't know what it is, but okay, bye.
From somewhere upstairs, a voice suddenly echoes down toward him, clear and deliberate, telling him to come up and get back to work. Abdullah freezes when he realizes the voice sounds exactly like his own. Before he can react, it changes again, perfectly mimicking his brother's voice instead, calling his name the same way his brother always does. The switch is instant and unsettling, like whatever it is knows them both. Abdullah shouts back, telling it to keep its mouth shut, his voice shaking more than he wants to admit. Immediately after that, everything goes silent. No footsteps, no movement, nothing at all. Trying to prove to himself it's not real, he runs upstairs with his phone still recording, checking every room along the way. Of course, there's nobody there. Later, Abdullah said the silence was worse than the voice because it felt intentional, like whatever was speaking chose to stop only after he confronted it. For anyone new here, Ian is a Midwest-based ghost hunter who's been investigating abandoned and reportedly haunted locations for years, most famously, an old factory he keeps returning to because of how consistently active it's been. He's captured unexplained footsteps, distant knocks, and objects moving in this place before, which is why this next clip matters so much.
If there's anyone up here, could you make a sound? Sound like it came from in there. Is anybody in there? Looks like an old creepy piano. Oh God. That's creepy. Hello? Ooh. That was loud. Hearing thumps and bangs all throughout this place. Oh my God. Okay, just calm down. It is a freaky atmosphere up here.
Ian is standing alone inside the factory again, filming the second floor and calmly asking if anyone is up there, requesting that whatever's present make a sound. Almost immediately, a loud bang echoes from a nearby room. Ian heads straight toward it, calling out as he goes, but when he reaches the room, it's completely empty, except for an old, dust-covered piano sitting against the wall. No signs of anyone, nowhere to hide. As he's taking it in, another knock rings out, this time closer, then another and another. Each one sounds deliberate, like a response rather than random noise. Ian keeps the camera steady, clearly unsettled now. slowly turning in place to show there's still no one around him. The factory stays silent between the knocks, making each one feel intentional, almost conversational. It's moments like this that keep pulling him back to this location, because whatever is in that factory doesn't just make noise, it answers. Before the following video started to film, a woman began noticing something unsettling in her home, the distinct sound of footsteps going up and down her stairs at random times. At first, she thought it might be her house settling, or maybe a neighbor outside, but the pattern was too deliberate, too heavy to dismiss. Immediately, determined to find out what was causing it, she started filming.
I keep hearing somebody walk up and down my stairs, but there is obviously nobody there. There's nothing there. And it keeps coming up and down, up and down.
The sounds continued, loud and heavy, echoing through the stairwell as if someone invisible was running up and down. She called out a few times, but there was no response. No sign of movement other than the creaks beneath the unseen steps. The camera pans toward the stairs, clearly showing they're empty, yet the noises persist. Each step seems to press down hard, then stop, then start again. Her breathing grows uneasy as she realizes there's no logical explanation. Nobody else is home, no pets, no people, just those haunting footsteps stomping endlessly. The same woman, still shaken from the footsteps she'd heard days earlier, decided to keep her phone close, just in case the noises returned. One evening, while relaxing in her living room, she began hearing something new. It was a deep, metallic scraping echoing from beneath her floor. It sounded slow, deliberate, and heavy, like something heavy and metal dragging across the floor. Take a look.
Guys, and if you hear it, that's exactly what I'm talking about. See, there's nothing out of place over here. There's nobody down here. I'm home alone. Like, there's nothing that should be making that noise. Nothing. I have no idea. This keeps happening. I'll hear this every now and again. But I do not want to be down here right now. I do not want to be down here. I just wanted to show you guys.
She made her way to the basement door, hesitating for a few seconds before opening it. As soon as she flicked the light switch on, the noise stopped completely. The basement fell silent, unnaturally so, as if whatever had been making the sound froze the moment she arrived. She stepped down the creaking steps and scanned the room, her eyes flickering everywhere, but everything was perfectly still. No pipes moving, no tools fallen over, no sign of life. She rushed back upstairs, locking the door behind her. Later, she said she would rather not enter the basement again, and there's no way you would either. Samantha was suddenly jolted awake at around 4 in the morning by strange noises echoing through her room. Still half asleep, but unnerved, she grabbed her phone, turned on the flashlight, and decided to start recording. Wanting people to see it live in case something truly happened, she began streaming on Facebook, a detail that would later prove the footage wasn't edited when it was re-uploaded to YouTube.
there's them up. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, fuck that shit. What the fuck? What's that? What's up there? What's that? What's that light? Oh, it's out of my charge. Please, it's off my charge. Oh, them up things fucking.
At first, everything seemed still, but a small orb drifted across the screen, faint but noticeable against the darkness. Samantha's breathing grew heavier as she whispered into the phone, mentioning what she saw. Just as she steadied her camera toward her wardrobe, a loud thud made her jump, signifying that something had fallen from the very top shelf with no visible cause. The stream immediately started being filled up with comments from people watching live, telling her to get out of the room. She panned the camera again, showing the fallen object on the floor, her voice trembling. In the aftermath, Samantha said she hadn't touched that shelf in weeks, and the item that fell was wedged firmly behind other boxes. Since that night, she's been too scared to sleep with the lights off, claiming the noises still return around the same time every morning. A Russian man had set out to explore what locals called an abandoned military bunker deep in the wilderness, a place rumored for years to be haunted by the spirits of those who never made it out. The entrance was a tunnel-like structure, half buried in dirt and stone, with air so still it felt untouched for decades.
Сейчас направляемся на поиски военной секретной заброшенной базы. Там, в лесу такие вот заброшки. Интересно сейчас найти эту базу. Так, идем. Она здесь здоровая, блин, эти дороги такие. Куча этих развилок. Будем направляться потихоньку. Вот, ребята, посмотрите. Подошли уже, нашли наконец-то эту военную секретную базу. Здесь никто не снимал еще, не лазил. И очень интересно самому и ребятам. Посмотрите, какие уже ангары. Так, очень опасно, чтобы не обвалилось. Пошли, ребята. Такие вот здание, помещение. Я думаю, достаем фонарик мой. Я взял. Все. О, смотрите, как классно светит. Ангар такой арочный. В лесу уже, видно, в земле заныканный. Такая вот была здесь военная база. Посмотрите. Какой ангар, ребята. Прикольно, что-то новенькое. И там много таких ангаров. Прикольно, ребята, давно не было у меня таких приключений. Типа сталка. Здесь, ребята, жутковато. Потому что здесь, блин, куча этих волков, зверей всяких. Подходим, идем дальше. Смотреть, Шо, как? Вот, ребята, еще такой вот бункер. Фу, территория очень большая. Здесь будет очень тяжело найти эти шахты. Так. Пошли. А вот здесь уже стрёмненько, ребята. Какие-то комнаты. Что это было? Ребята! Фу, валим! Фу, блин! Там что-то было в том бункере. Жесть просто. Фу. По-моему, кто-то стоит. Валим! Фу, ребята. Фу. Вот это я, блин, нагонялся. Стрёмненько. Такая вот секретная военная база. Еще, блин, кто-то там лазил.
As he stepped inside, his flashlight cut through the heavy darkness, revealing crumbling walls, rusted pipes, and piles of rubble scattered across the ground. He moved carefully through the first few tunnels, whispering his thoughts in Russian, his voice echoing faintly off the concrete. After several minutes, he finally reached an exit that led him back outside into the cold air, the light from the trees almost blinding compared to what he had just come from. But curiosity got the better of him. He made his way to another sector nearby, one even darker and more decayed than the first. The moment he stepped inside, the atmosphere changed instantly to something thicker and heavier. That's when it happened. From the corner of his light, a faint human figure began emerging from a doorway at the end of the hall. He froze for half a second before bolting out of the bunker, the camera shaking as he gasped for breath. Later, he swore he'd never return to that site again, convinced whatever he saw in that tunnel wasn't living. The following video has the context of a man sitting quietly at home when a series of loud bangs began echoing from his garage. At first, he thought it was the wind or maybe something falling from a shelf, but the sounds were too heavy, too deliberate. Grabbing his phone and a flashlight, he went to check it out.
What is that noise?
The moment he entered the garage, the banging grew louder, pounding in quick bursts that made the metal walls tremble. He followed the sound until he realized it wasn't coming from the floor or the walls, it was above him. The attic hatch in the ceiling was moving ever so slightly, the latch trembling as if something was pushing against it from the other side. He stood frozen, watching it shift just enough to make his heart race before the movement suddenly stopped. Gathering his nerve, he reached up and pulled the hatch down, the ladder unfolding with a creak that echoed through the quiet garage. Slowly, he climbed the steps, flashlight in hand, scanning the corners of the attic. Dust, insulation, and old boxes, nothing else. The place was completely empty, but what unsettled him most was the feeling that, even in the silence, something up there was still watching him from the dark. The following evening, as he walked up the path toward his house, every light inside suddenly flicked off at once. The blackout was so abrupt that he immediately pulled out his phone and began recording.
I was walking towards my house, and all the lights suddenly turned off inside. I don't know if my wife's home or not.
He unlocked the door cautiously and stepped inside, using his flashlight to cut through the thick darkness. His voice was tense as he narrated to us, but nobody else was there, and the house stayed eerily silent. Moving slowly from room to room, the beam of his light caught something swaying above the kitchen table, the ceiling light, still moving back and forth like someone had just brushed past it. He stepped closer, audibly getting nervous, but deep down he knew better. From the kitchen, he walked into the garage, hoping maybe his wife had come home early, but her car wasn't there. He was completely alone. That night he packed a small bag and went to stay with a friend, saying he needed space from whatever was happening in that house. He later said he wasn't sure what his next move would be, but one thing was certain. He wouldn't be spending another night there until he had real answers. Late one night, a woman in her car started filming after her dog began whining uncontrollably at the window across the street. The animal's behavior was strange, with its ears pinned back, tail tucked, refusing to move. Curious and uneasy, she aimed her camera across the road toward the house opposite.
No, no es normal eso. Ahí paró. Correte. Sí, porque no es que sube y baja así del...
Through the glass of a vibrantly lit upstairs window, something could be seen moving back and forth at an unnaturally fast pace. The figure's motion was erratic and too smooth to be human, gliding side to side in a blur that didn't match the lighting or the rhythm of a person walking. His dog clearly felt some sort of weird presence, and it was almost as if it could sense something he couldn't. Eventually, the figure finally stopped appearing, but it took way longer than expected. It was roughly 3 hours after the clip ended. To this day, he claims no one lives in that house anymore, and his dog still refuses to go near the window after dark. Ian the Midwest Ghost Hunter, is one of the most subscribed ghost hunters, and this is from his haunted theater experience, the one where so many strange encounters have already taken place. Still determined to uncover more evidence, he swept his camera slowly around the empty room, giving a full 360-degree view of the walls and the curtains that lined them.
Creepy. Ooh, this is one of the creepiest nights I've experienced so far. Mabel, are you still over here? If she peeks up from those curtains, I'm out of here. That's it, I'm running. Oh man, just imagine.
As he zoomed in on one of the far curtains, the footage abruptly cut to another camera angle pointed at a stairway. This time, the shot had zero movement, no shaking. For a few seconds, nothing happened until a faint white mist began to descend the stairs, almost floating down step by step before fading near the bottom. The mist didn't behave like dust or light glare, and Ian himself confirmed there was no fog or smoke in the building that night. Whatever it was, it seemed to have its own form and direction. For those following Ian's journey through this haunted theater, this moment only deepens the mystery. Subscribe so you don't miss what he discovers next. A man was at home one night, casually watching TV, when he decided to start filming because something strange had started happening. The overhead light in his living room began flashing on and off at slow, rhythmic intervals, almost like a signal.
Vean cómo empezó a ser el foco de mi cámara. Prende y se apaga. No sé qué pasó. Estoy viendo la tele y de repente no sé qué pasó, se apagó la luz. Otra vez apagó la luz. Voy a buscar la linterna. Ah, se apagó la tele. Aquí está la linterna. ¿Qué está pasando? No, 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 no mames, no mames. ¿Qué es eso? Por Dios, ¿qué es eso? Se apagó. Mi celular, mi celular, mi celular. Traigo mi celular. Está prendido allá abajo. Está prendido allá abajo. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Se prendió la luz. Se está apagando la luz. Se está prendiendo la luz.
He pointed his camera toward the TV, narrating nervously as both the television and the light suddenly turned off at the exact same moment, plunging the room into silence. Grabbing a flashlight, he asked out loud what was going on, his voice shaky. Just then, the door across from him creaked open by itself, revealing the dark outline of a womanly figure standing beyond it. The figure didn't move, but its presence was enough to send a jolt of fear through him. After gathering himself, he slowly backed away, turned, and made his way downstairs with the flashlight in hand. His breathing grew louder as he picked up the pace, eventually sprinting out the door and into his car. He explained at the end that he wouldn't be going back into that house for at least a week. footage captured a routine call that turned into something far stranger. Questioning a woman outside her 3-room home after she reported what she believed to be a burglary. She explained her reasons for suspicion, and they sounded very believable, so the officers requested permission to search the property. She agreed, staying outside while they went in.
How's it going? What seems to be the problem?
I left for a while to go shopping, and when I came home, the door is open. I think somebody broke in.
Does anyone live in the house?
Yes, my husband, myself, and our 2 kids, but they're out of town right now. They're with his parents.
And how many rooms do you have?
2 upstairs and 1 downstairs.
All right, we're gonna have to go and search the house. Is it okay if we go in?
Yeah, of course.
You don't have any like pets or dogs or anything?
No.
Right. Just stay here, man. Police! If anyone's here, make yourself known. Police! Anyone inside? I'm gonna check downstairs, you get upstairs. Police! Anyone inside, make yourself known. Downstairs clear. Upstairs clear? Yeah, we're good.
Flashlights swept across the darkened rooms as they knocked on doors and announced their presence, receiving no reply. One officer entered a bedroom and inspected a cabinet, only to catch one of its doors slam shut on its own a few seconds later. He checked the adjoining bathroom and found it empty. The officers split up to cover more ground. The body cam shows the POV officer heading upstairs, where the door at the top slowly pushed itself wider, as if someone invisible was waiting for him. He cautiously entered, scanned the room, and found nobody. As he stepped back into the hallway, the door opposite creaked open even further, repeating the unsettling pattern. Once again, the room was empty. After thoroughly checking every space and finding no signs of forced entry, the officers returned outside to inform the woman. She was left shaken but relieved no intruder was found, though the officers admitted what they witnessed inside was deeply unsettling. She decided to stay with family for the night and planned to have someone bless the house in the coming days. Noah had always joked about the piano ghost living in his house, ever since the old upright piano had arrived as a family heirloom, and it would frequently play by user, with the seat even moving. But one afternoon, he found something even more abnormal. Sitting on the piano's music stand was a handwritten note addressed to him. It claimed to be from the piano ghost itself, saying it had been practicing a special song and left clear instructions on how to let it play without interference. Intrigued and excited to see what musical ability the ghost had to offer, Noah followed the instructions.
Sorba. Hey, say hi to Jackson, Haven, and Harper. Hey kiddos, it's Uncle Noah. I wanted to let you know I got home last night and I saw a letter from the piano ghost to you guys. I've already read it, but I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, oh gosh, this handwriting is so bad. It says, Dear Haven, Harper, and Jax, I heard y'all are coming to see Noah and Lindsay for Christmas. So I've been practicing a little song to play for y'all. I'll play a little bit of it for you now. I hope you enjoy it. Here are your instructions. Place the letter on top of the piano, turn the piano on for me, and then back away and listen. I hope you enjoy this song, and I can't wait to play for you this Christmas. Love, the friendly piano ghost. All right, so let's see. We put the letter up, turn it on, and back away. So let's turn it on for him. And now let's watch him play. Hope he can sit on that bench. It's kind of crooked, but oh well. Oh, whoa. He's scooting it back so he can sit on it. Okay. Well, whatever works. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. He's playing. Man, he's good. Yeah, such a cool ghost. All he does is play the piano. Sweet. That was cool. Oh, I guess he's not done. Oh yeah. Rocking and rolling now. He's the best piano player I've ever heard. Alright, I'm going to quit videoing. And I'm going to leave so he can play by himself. Love you kiddos. Bye.
He placed the note on top of the piano, turned the power on, and stepped back to give it space. A few moments later, the seat in front of the piano slid out as if an invisible player had taken their place. Then the piano keys began pressing down one by one in perfect rhythm, playing a recognizable Christmas song, all on their own. The sound filled the room as Noah filmed, clearly in awe. It wasn't a recording or a trick of the light. He could see each key moving as if touched by unseen hands. According to the note, the ghost planned to perform the song for the whole family on Christmas Day, which left Noah equal parts excited and unsettled. The following footage comes from a household camera set up in the sitting room right after the family finished dinner. The room was calm and completely untouched, but little did anybody know that it wasn't going to stay that way. Near the camera, a small child's toy on the desk gives a slight twitch, so subtle you might miss it on first watch. A second later, it shifts again, more abruptly this time, scraping a few centimeters, as if nudged by an unseen hand. After a brief pause, it jolts once more, the movement sharper and impossible to blame on vibration. While the family is off-screen cleaning up, the camera catches one more startling moment across the room. From the top of a cabinet, an item tumbles down and hits the floor with a clean clack that cuts through the silence. No one is nearby, no footsteps approach, and nothing else in frame moves. The clip ends with the toy sitting crooked and the fallen object lying where it landed, a quiet room holding on to a very loud mystery. The man in our next clip was standing outside his house late at night when he began to hear faint footsteps that didn't sound like the usual neighborhood sounds. Curious and a little unsettled, he pulled out his phone and started filming to see if he could capture whatever was making the noise. Pointing the camera toward one of his windows, the audio picks up a strange rhythmic galloping sound, almost like a horse running just out of view. The noise grows clearer, echoing through the night air, and at moments, an obnoxiously loud snoring sound can be heard too, adding to the eeriness of the situation. The man stays quiet for most of the video, focusing on recording the sounds as they continue for several seconds before fading into the distance. Some who watched the footage said the noise reminded them of a horse, while others thought it sounded like distant gunfire echoing off buildings. Comment below what you think it sounds like so we can get to the bottom of it. A family was casually filming themselves, hanging out in their sitting room, everyone gathered together and chatting. It seemed like a completely normal moment, but if you pay close attention to the woman standing in the background, something unsettling happens. Her hair suddenly gets tugged back by an unseen force, sharp enough for her to immediately react and grab at it in confusion. She turns to the others and explains that the family has a ghost in the house. For context, she's actually a cousin visiting and doesn't live there. Her sudden declaration leaves everyone looking around at each other, visibly confused and unsure how to respond. Some nervously laugh it off, while others look uncomfortable, trying to figure out if she's joking or serious. The clip spread quickly online, with many viewers pointing out the clear movement in her hair and how genuine her reaction seemed. Whether it was a trick of the light or something paranormal, the moment left a lasting impression. Late one night, Dyra found herself alone in the storage facility she was renting a room in, sorting through some old belongings she'd been meaning to organize. The place was quiet, the kind of silence that makes every little sound echo down the narrow hallways. She pulled out her phone and began recording as she walked through the corridor toward her unit. You'll have to look closely to see what happened in this clip.
I'm over here at the storage, and I don't know if it's me, but y'all tell me I don't see that. Oh no. I don't know if it's just a fan like going in and out, but the f is that? Duh. I don't. Maybe I'm bugging. No, I know y'all just see that, right? Oh!
Zooming down the hallway, she caught something unsettling. A figure kept peeking around the left corner at the very end, pulling back each time as if it didn't want to be fully seen. It happened more than once, quick movements that looked too human to be a trick of the light, yet too strange for someone to actually be there. The building was supposed to be empty, and it was late enough that no staff or other customers were around. Her breathing grew shaky as she slowly made her way forward, unsure if she was dealing with a trespasser or something far worse. The footage left viewers uneasy, with many pointing out how deliberate the peeking looked, as if the figure was toying with her. After a long day at work, the victim of our next clip pulled into his driveway and immediately noticed something strange. The light in his shed was on. This wasn't the first odd thing to happen recently, and he'd started to believe his property might actually be haunted. His neighbors, however, dismissed it as the work of bored teenagers playing pranks. Determined to prove it one way or another, he pulled out his phone and started recording.
I just got home from work, and my shed light is on. Sorry, I'm spanning the yard just to make sure nobody else is out here. I spoke to my neighbor after that last video, and he said his junior high boys have been pulling pranks on people, so I think it's them. But they don't really have anywhere to go, so I'm gonna bust in here and try and catch them. I don't know what they're doing.
Hey! 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 Hey!
As he filmed the shed from a distance, the light began to flicker erratically, turning off and on in a pattern that didn't seem random. Just when it looked like it might stop, a figure appeared inside, faintly illuminated, and turned to face him. Without hesitation, he continuously yelled, "Hey!" and bolted toward the shed. But when he swung the door open, the interior was completely empty. There were no windows, no back doors, and no possible escape route for anyone to have slipped out. That moment shifted his doubts into certainty. This wasn't teenagers messing around. Whatever was inside the shed that night wasn't human.